Tween fans? Welcome to this week's Storytime Thursday. Like usual, I'm Kelly Meister and I now have purple hair. And this is my sweet kitty, Annabelle. Anyway, back to it. You may be wondering why I am in a kitchen for Storytime Thursday. Well, this week, instead of reading a story, we're gonna read something a little bit different. A recipe! What's super cool about this week's Storytime Thursday is not only will we be reading a recipe, we get to tell a story with food. Now you can tell stories about food, you can tell stories while making food, you can tell stories while eating food, which is my favorite thing to do. This summer, when you get to see your friends again, hopefully you can tell a story about how you learned to make this delicious, yummy snack. So, let's get started. If this is your first time reading a recipe, or if it's been a while since you've read a recipe, there's a few terms that you might not recognize or remember. For example, cup, TBSP, or TSP. Who here can tell me what a cup is? That's right, a cup. It looks like something you can drink out of, but it often has a handle. And it might even tell you what size it is. Wow. And there's also lots of different sizes. So you can have this big one, which is 1 cup, or you can have this little baby one, which is just 1/4 of a cup. Next is the term TBSP. Do you know what that stands for? That stands for tablespoon, which looks like this little tiny spoon. Not to be confused with TSP. Do you know what that stands for? Teaspoon, which is another little spoon, but not quite as big as a tablespoon. Tablespoon, teaspoon, tablespoon, teaspoon. Now that we know what those terms mean, let's gather our ingredients. The first ingredient we need are 2 ripe bananas. Which 2 do you think are the most ripe? A, B, or C? We'll go ahead and use C because these are the brownest bananas, which might look not too yummy, but when you mix them up, they'll be delicious. Our second ingredient calls for 2 cups of oats. Which cup should we use? That's right, we'll want to use the big cup. Now you can either use 2 of these big cups, or if you have a different measuring cup that goes all the way up to 2 cups, you can use one of these. So that's what I'm gonna do. Perfect. Our next ingredient is 1/2 cup of nut butter. Now you can use any kind of nut butter that you want, but for me, I am going to use some yummy, creamy peanut butter. Next up is 1/4 cup of honey. Now you remember that little baby cup I showed you in the beginning? That's what I'm gonna use. Our next ingredient is 2 tablespoons of chocolate chips. Which of these should we use? That's right, we're gonna use the big orange tablespoon on the left. All right, I have my tablespoon, my chocolate chips, and a little bowl for me to put them in so that way I can have it all measured out and ready to mix. Our last ingredient is 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. Which should we use? That's right, we'll use the yellow teaspoon in the middle. All right, last but not least, I have my cinnamon, my teaspoon, and a little bowl to put it in. Okay, Tween fans, now that we have all of our ingredients gathered, it's time to put it all together. Our first direction is to mash the bananas in a large mixing bowl. I've got my mixing bowl. I have this thing to mash the bananas with, or you can use a fork. That works just as well. Our next step is to add the rest of our ingredients and mix it all up. Next, we're gonna line our baking sheet with some parchment paper. That way our banana bites don't stick to the pan. Now we have our finished mix and our baking pan is ready to go. We're gonna use 2 tablespoons to make our little energy balls. So we're gonna put them in our hand, and this is the fun part where we get nice and sticky, and you roll it together till it's about 1 inch, just like that. And then we stick it on the pan. Now when we first started, I told you that part of the fun was making food and sharing stories about food. So one of my favorite stories is that the first time I ever made these fun little banana bites was with my mom, and we got to do it for a sleepover for my 7th birthday, and my friends loved them so much, and we were bouncing off the walls all night. These yummy, healthy snacks, somewhat healthy with all that chocolate, made us have so much fun for my birthday. And now I love getting to make these for my friends, and sometimes it's even so much better to have a friend join you and you get to share the experience together. I know my fellow tween stars, Chatty Alex and Glitter Becca, love it when I bring these to our rehearsals, so that way we can have the best time getting our shows ready for you. Now, do you all have fun things you like to do with your friends? Please, please, please send us fan mail and let us know what super awesome things you love to do with your best friends. Whether that's singing, or maybe you like to read books together, or ride your bike like Glitter Becca, or do puzzles like Chatty Alex. We all have super fun things we want to do, so please let us know and send us your fan mail if you have any other questions you want to know from your tween stars. Okay, I finished rolling out my banana fun bites. I'm gonna go put them in the refrigerator and wait about 2 hours. Okay, tween fans, I hold in my hand the finished product. So I'm gonna give it a try and I'll let you know how it is, okay? Wow, this is delicious! And I cannot wait until you get to try it. I hope you have so much fun making this recipe. Make sure you ask first if you can use all those ingredients in the kitchen, but then have the best time making this food, sharing it with your friends and family. Now don't forget, you can put your finished bites in a Tupperware and you can keep it in the fridge. That way they stay nice and cold and keep their round shape. Tween fans, this was awesome to spend this time with you today, and we cannot wait to see you at our next concert. We'll see you soon. Bye.